Joe Biden pardoned you and a number of people who he thought Trump would go after.
No, I take the opposite view. I don't think he should have given the pardons at all.
Really?
No, I don't think he should have, and I was vocal about that at the time.
Can you refuse a pardon?
That's less clear because in the case of the January 6th committee, he pardoned essentially the whole committee.
And the fact that Schiff hasn't blinked since 1992. And he didn't take the news so well. The disgraced Democrat went on TikTok to complain. Behold.
I'm Congressman Adam Schiff with some troubling news. Today, Kevin McCarthy removed me from the House Intelligence Committee, all for doing my job, for holding Trump accountable and standing up to the extreme MAGA Republicans.
Bill Maher and Greg Gutfeld have had it, and this time, they didn't just take shots at Adam Schiff, they launched a political carpet bomb. No more polite jabs or veiled sarcasm, they went nuclear. For years, Schiff dragged the country through a maze of delusion, peddling ghost stories of Russian collusion, waving around debunked dossiers like holy scripture, and spinning lies so shameless they'd make a con man blush. But the curtain's finally fallen, the illusion shattered, and now, even his own allies are circling like jackals, ready to feast on the political carcass. I've got every brutal takedown, every molten hot reaction, and all the wreckage raining down from this implosion. So hit that subscribe button, because what's coming next doesn't just make headlines, it makes history.
Let's stop talking about Trump. We talk about him too much. We want to tell people what we're going to do for them. Healthcare, environment, those kind of issues. For example, I've seen you on TV a lot in the last couple of years. I know everything you know, or that you tell us, about the Russian situation. I don't have a clue what you think about healthcare. I've never heard it. Yeah. I don't know whether you're for Medicare for all, or improve Obamacare, or get a chicken. I don't know what.
Nope, your eyes aren't playing tricks. That is Bill Maher lighting Adam Schiff up on live TV like it's 4th of July in a dynamite factory. The kind of scorched earth takedown you'd never see on CNN or MSNBC unless they were willing to burst into flames mid-broadcast. Schiff built his entire persona on a solo crusade to take down Trump, preaching Russian collusion like it was divine scripture carved in granite. He milked that narrative like it was the final season of a political thriller, non-stop, breathless, obsessive, only for it to crash and burn with zero proof and a whole lot of egg on his face. And when the facts finally punched through the fog? Silence. Nothing but the sound of a reputation quietly deflating. So yeah, Maher didn't just clap back, he dropped the hammer with the million-dollar question, what have you actually done for America?
For Adam Schiff. Because he created 3 years of a massive fallacy that did so much damage to this country and made us miss probably one of the most important stories of our lifetime. We were having hearings on impeachment while the coronavirus was exploding.
Greg Gutfeld didn't just criticize Adam Schiff, he incinerated him. In one of his most savage takedowns yet, Gutfeld went full flamethrower, torching Schiff for his not-so-small role in the chaos surrounding the COVID pandemic. While the virus crept silently across borders and lives hung in the balance, where was Schiff? Not in war rooms, not focused on preparedness, no, he was neck-deep in his impeachment obsession, binging on political fantasy like a teenager lost in a conspiracy box set. Instead of sounding alarms, he was feeding the media just enough junk fodder to keep the circus spinning. While America needed steady hands and sharp focus, Schiff handed out distractions like party favors, all to keep the nation locked on Trump, not the ticking global threat. And Gutfeld? He didn't hold back. He torched Schiff's credibility, shredded his priorities, and hit him with the question that echoed like a gut punch. What kind of man misleads a nation just to settle a personal vendetta?
Hearings on impeachment while the coronavirus was exploding. We talked about that virus in green rooms, but we had to do this impeachment story. We had to show these hearings. It's all on him, man. He's got to go. They got to investigate him. They got to hold him accountable. I'm not going to say he should go to prison, but my evil twin will say he should go away to prison for a very long time.
Honestly, how is Adam Schiff still strutting around without even a slap on the wrist after misleading the most powerful nation on earth with nothing but smoke, mirrors, and political stagecraft? It's unreal. The man doesn't need to be tossed in a cell, just like Gutfeld said, but let's be real, at bare minimum, he owes the American people a raw, unfiltered, honest apology. Schiff dragged this country through years of manufactured hysteria, wild goose chases, and taxpayer-funded theater, all for the sake of scoring partisan points. He burned through time, trust, and billions like it was monopoly money. And for what? Headlines? Legacy? Revenge? You can't just sweep that scale of deception under the rug and walk away like nothing happened. An apology won't undo the damage, but it's the first step toward accountability. And frankly, it's the absolute bare minimum a man in his position should be expected to do.
Schiff got kicked to the curb, and the irony is superb. He went crying to mommy on an app run by Chinese commies. Congressman Adam Schiff announced this morning he's running for U.S. Senate in California, which is guaranteed to boost U-Haul rentals headed for Texas. He unveiled the highly polished and produced political ad right on the heels of getting booted from the House Intel Committee. Coincidence? I think not.
Yes, Speaker McCarthy absolutely made the right call pulling the plug on Adam Schiff's tenure with the House Intelligence Committee, finally shutting down what had become a long-running political circus masked as oversight. For years, Schiff twisted his position into a stage for partisan warfare, spinning fairy tales and draining the public's trust like a leaky faucet, all while pretending he was the guardian of truth. And now? He's eyeing a Senate seat in California like it's just the next act in his sleight of hand routine. But if history's any indicator, both Bill Maher and Greg Gutfeld would agree, the only thing Schiff brings to the table is smoke, mirrors, and an ego in search of a spotlight. His reputation walks into every room 5 minutes before he does, and it doesn't get a warm reception. This is the same guy who promised explosive collusion revelations and delivered, well, nothing but echoes. He turned national security into a partisan playpen and treated credibility like a prop in his political magic show. Schiff has shown us exactly who he is, a master of pageantry, not leadership. And California? It deserves more than a man chasing power for power's sake. It deserves someone who puts people over personal ambition and principle over party loyalty.
The Atlantic put out an article last year, and it was called "Separating Sports by Doesn't Make Sense."
Right.
And talked about how we separate sports like the WNBA and the just because it's just socialization. This is insane.
I agree.
Okay. That's why people vote for Trump.
Mhm.
Because there's stuff like that on the left that people just go, I know Trump's horrible, but separating by sports makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
And if you think it doesn't, you can't leave the country.
Let's be real, Adam Schiff is probably headed for a loss in the California Senate race, and it's not hard to see why. The guy's just too woke for a lot of voters. Sure, he doesn't always scream his positions from the rooftops, but you can hear it in his tone, see it in his polished answers, and feel it in the way he tiptoes around anything remotely controversial. He's clearly comfortable with the far left wing of the Democratic Party, even if he tries to play it cool. Take the whole debate over trans women in women's sports. When that came up, Schiff practically broke into a dance trying to dodge the question. No yes, no, just a slick, rehearsed response that basically said, I'm with them, without actually having the guts to say it out loud. That kind of verbal gymnastics is exactly why people are tuning out. Californians are over politicians who treat cultural issues like they're stepping through a minefield. Say what you mean what you say. Even Bill Maher saw right through the sidestep and didn't hesitate to call it out. In a time when voters want boldness and honesty, Schiff's carefully packaged vagueness and ideological lean might be exactly what drives his campaign straight off the road.
Timbs pop their dentures when Schiff finally gets censored. And so the House condemns the lies of the man with the zombie eyes. Last night, the House voted on party lines to censure Adam Schiff for promoting the Trump-Russia collusion hoax, which was as believable as Brian Kilmeade getting fan mail. 2 for 2. Schiff becomes only the 26th member ever to be censured, but to his credit, he's still the only member to have a 12-inch neck.
Gutfeld's takedown of Adam Schiff wasn't just spicy, it was a straight-up surgical strike. Precise, ruthless, and totally on target. He didn't just toss a few insults at Schiff's Senate hopes, he dragged them under the spotlight and torched them before they even had a chance to catch fire. This wasn't about applause lines or viral clips. It was a wake-up call. America doesn't need more political ladder climbers chasing clout, it needs adults in the room. Leaders who stand for something real, not party loyalists who think every disagreement is an excuse for a political hit job. Let's be honest, aside from his endless obsession with impeaching Trump and pushing half-baked conspiracy theories, what has Schiff actually done for the Democratic Party, or the country? What major bill can he point to? What serious solution has he offered for inflation, immigration, national security? Nothing but crickets. His legacy isn't one of results, it's all performance, all the time. Gutfeld wasn't just roasting Schiff's ego, he was sending a bigger message: stop rewarding theatrics over substance. America doesn't need another spotlight chaser in the Senate. It needs problem solvers. Builders. Not bomb throwers.
Senator Schiff, given the ongoing political tensions and Trump's actions toward his critics, do you think President Biden's preemptive pardons turned out to be more important than initially expected? Let's first tell people what that means. Preemptive pardons. That was pretty unprecedented, right? Before he left office, Joe Biden pardoned you and a number of people who he thought Trump would go after.
No, I take the opposite view. I don't think he should have given the pardons at all.
Really?
No, I don't think he should have, and I was vocal about that at the time.
Can you refuse a pardon?
That's less clear because in the case of the January 6th committee, he pardoned essentially the whole committee.
Now here's where things get really juicy, because according to recent reports, some of President Biden's pardons might not have even been signed by the man himself. Yeah, you read that right. That revelation cracks open a whole new can of constitutional chaos. If we're seriously questioning presidential signatures, what does that mean for the legitimacy of future pardons? Say, for example, Adam Schiff ends up getting one down the line, would it even hold up? If that pardon turns out to be forged, quietly rubber-stamped, or just another shady political favor dressed up as justice, it could get tossed faster than you can say, cover up. And if that happens, Schiff might finally be forced to answer for the years of political gamesmanship and partisan theater he's been skating through. In a system where accountability is supposed to mean something, half-signed paperwork and insider deals shouldn't be anyone's get-out-of-jail-free card. Because if Schiff really did cross the line, abusing power, misleading the public, weaponizing his office, then no ghost-signed pardon should be his shield. The American people deserve leaders who play by the same rules as everyone else. If justice means anything, it has to cut through the velvet ropes of the political elite. And let's be honest, Schiff's backstage pass? It might be about to get revoked.
And so the FBI came in and arrested the judge. Now, I haven't heard that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I've ever read arrested a judge. So is this significant?
Well, I think
I'm not going to comment on something I don't know more about than what you've just told me.
You read about it too.
Yeah, I mean, I read about it, but I don't know.
So you don't trust anything either, and you work for the New York Times.
Well,
Maher didn't let up for a second. He kept the heat on, ripping back the curtain on Schiff's blatant hypocrisy and hammering him for his cherry-picked outrage. When the story came up about the judge arrested for actually helping an illegal immigrant dodge ICE, Schiff suddenly went full amnesia, acting like he had no clue what anyone was talking about. Seriously? If that case had even sneezed in Russia's direction, Schiff would have been front and center, holding a press conference and delivering a 5-act drama. But since it didn't fit his preferred narrative? Total radio silence. That right there is the Schiff problem in a nutshell. He doesn't chase the truth, he chases headlines that fit his agenda. Tireless when it's time to beat the dead horse of Russian collusion, but when real legal issues like immigration pop up, crickets. Maher called out that glaring double standard without missing a beat. This wasn't a slip-up or a brain fart. It was a calculated sidestep. Selective outrage and strategic silence. That's exactly why so many Americans roll their eyes when career politicians claim they're just trying to do what's right. Nobody wants a referee who only blows the whistle when it helps their team.
Dems pop their dentures when Schiff finally gets censored. And so the House condemns the lies of the man with the zombie eyes. Last night, the House voted on party lines to censure Adam Schiff for promoting the Trump-Russia collusion hoax, which was as believable as Brian Kilmeade getting fan mail. Schiff becomes only the 26th member ever to be censured. But to his credit, he's still the only member to have a 12-inch neck.
Once again, Adam Schiff served up another whopper to his ever-trusting fan base. No, he wasn't kicked off the House Intelligence Committee because he was bravely battling MAGA villains. He got the boot because his entire Trump case collapsed like a Jenga tower built on lies. His so-called evidence? Political smoke, mirrors, and a whole lot of drama. For years, Schiff sold the Russia collusion story like it was the lost book of the Bible, promising damning proof was just around the corner. Spoiler alert, that corner was a cliff. And when it became clear his grand claims had zero foundation, did he come clean? Nope. He flipped the script like a pro spin doctor, playing the victim and insisting he was punished for standing up to Trump. That's not courage. That's classic political damage control. Schiff's playbook hasn't changed. Keep the base fired up, toss in buzzwords and dramatic pauses, and hope nobody notices the empty stage. But facts don't lie. Schiff does. His worn-out routine is looking more bargain bin by the day. This is a guy who built his career on deception, deflection, and division, and now the mask is slipping. From flogging discredited hoaxes to ignoring real issues like illegal immigration and public trust, Schiff's loyalty clearly lies with ambition, not accountability. Bill Maher, Greg Gutfeld, and more Americans are finally pulling back the curtain on Schiff's selective outrage and double standards. The fog of fiction is lifting, and what's left is a politician more obsessed with the spotlight than real solutions. California deserves a leader, not a stage actor, and voters are starting to wake up to that. That wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed this deep dive into political drama, smash that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.